Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the American Bow Hunter, the official podcast of PSE. I'm your host, Zach Plasica, and I'm here with Brian Gay. Everyone knows Brian. If you don't, you see him on Instagram, Bobcats and Broadheads.
Yes, sir.
That's it, man. So before we jump into this thing, did you see this past weekend, the SoCal Showdown?
I sure did. Yep.
So yeah, impressive. We've got Matthias Fullerton walking away with the win.
Standing on the podium with a PSE in his hand.
That's it. Looked
How
good.
crazy
Man.
is that?
Yeah, man. He looked good. And then Gaius Carter took third. So PSE is doing good, man. I think Matthias shot the Dominator Duo X.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Impressive. I was talking to Cody Harrington, and we were talking about just that type of event, right? Shooting that style of archery. And he was like, man, it is a target panic central for these guys. You see him up there and just shooting that 50 meter.
Yeah.
target.
50 meters. It's not, you're not shooting at 20 yards like, Vegas or anything like that. It's exponentially further.
Yeah.
So
I've never done anything like that. I think it would be a good time though. I mean, I was talking with Cody about it, and we were talking about potentially stepping outside and setting up some of those a little bit just to try it out. Cause I know Cody's eager to shoot one, and there's nothing around here to really do anything like that.
Yeah, that's we do at the range that we have on the base. There's 50-yard target, and we just put up a paper target there and try and group. And the visibility with 19 thou pins, especially, on my bow is just it blocks out the complete center.
Yeah, I'd be curious to what his sight setup looks like for something like that.
Yeah,
because like I said, I'm not a target guy.
No, not at all. I'm sure it's a single pin, with all the gadgets on it. So it's. Yeah, but I'd be curious to see what is the whole setup is. Is there illumination? How long is the scope? X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I was told that he was shooting the Easton Pro Tours as far as arrows go. Mm-hmm. Easton is seems to be the choice amongst everybody.
Yep, standard. They won more medals and trophies than anybody, I think. So, and you can't go wrong with an Easton arrow, no matter what you're shooting.
You can't. So Matthias has really been doing good. He's had 2023, I think he was a World Cup final winner, 2024 Vegas champion, 2024 NFAA Indoor National champion. So representing PSE very well. And it looks like that Dominator Duo X is putting in work, man.
Oh yeah. He's putting in work. There's a lot of time behind the riser, a lot of just practice and just being a true, I don't know how to say it. It's a profession of your craft. He's really dialed in. So, and hopefully he keeps going. Oh,
I'm sure he will. I'm sure we'll see him for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And that's impressive because that's, again, just a completely different style of archery than what I focus on, right? And more the bow hunting side of things. Same thing with you, bow hunters. Yeah. But the guys that can sit there and put in those reps and shoot those X's or shoot that same target consistently and accurately is, it's another level. It's another level, man.
Yeah. Accuracy is repeatability.
Yes.
And for you to be able to do that consistently. I don't know if you ever held a bow up for longer than a minute, but but it's a long time, especially at 50 meters, So that my hat goes off to him.
Yeah. Good work, my friend. Good work. So getting into what we're talking about today. So it's we're in the middle of summer. It's super hot. It's the off season still, but there are still things to do with the bow. And you just got back from a hog hunt not that long ago.
Yes, sir.
So how did you get into the hog hunting side of things? Because I haven't done any hog hunting, except I'll tell you, it's been years back. I would say probably 10 or 15, probably closer to 15 years. The only hog hunting I've really done was down towards southern part of the state in Myrtle Beach area. Mm-hmm. And we did a special operations Wounded Warrior event for a bunch of SEALs out there. And it was all done. It was just dogs and knives. So it was a little different. And like I said, that was a long time ago. So since then I haven't done any real hog hunting. There's not really a lot of hogs where we're at. You kind of got to travel for them. And it's just not something that I've really got into, but I would like to get into it as it looks like a good time.
Yes. Very good time. So I hooked up with a good friend of ours, Joe, who's starting a taxidermy / outfitter business. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, I got some land in South Carolina. It's I guess one of his best friends from college. So he said, we have access to it and there's hogs everywhere and they are absolutely just demolishing the scenery, the landscape. They're not good for anything, really. They just eat the roots and rut everything up. So went down a couple weeks ago now, set up all the feeders and and we set up our stand, which was 40 feet in the air. So it's, oh yeah.
Why are you guys so high?
So you have to beat their nose. So it's so hot, you're going to sweat getting in there, walking through the swamps as far as we're walking, everything like that. So set up the sticks in the stand that week. So to minimize the amount of effort we're putting in getting in that day.
Right.
Waited for a week and a half until they were really kind of coming in on a schedule and we could time it. And then went out and set everything up and I buffed it, man. I really.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So, you know, how did you, as far as the hog side of things go, have you ever hunted hogs prior to this?
So I have.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in Central Florida. So there are hogs everywhere. When Joe and I went down to Florida in January for the Knife and Hogs, we actually were in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was literally, it was the same county, but next town over where the Wildlife Management Preserve was. So I was very familiar with the area. I grew up there, you know, so, and there are hogs everywhere.
So they breed quick, don't they?
Yeah. They don't have they don't go into heat once a year.
It's constant.
It's constant. And then as soon as those pigs are able to kind of fend for themselves, they run them off. And then it's just go, go, go.
So that's the biggest issue, I guess. So that's what I've seen, I guess. You know, like down in Texas, it's the hog hunting side. There's a lot of money to be made in it. One, there's a ton of hogs there.
Oh, yeah.
And then two, I mean, everyone wants to shoot them. You can hunt them year round, I think, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of times in Texas, because they have a different breed. It's a javelina.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, it's still a wild pig. And even if you cut a feral pig or a pig loose that's captive, it'll go feral in up to 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, it's fast, very fast. Good friend of mine lives in Aden, and the Smithfield Hog Farm is 500 yards from his house. One ended up in his garage. I mean, it was a big, just pink pig, and the guy had to come down, and they had to put it down because it's escaped. They have no idea. Now it could be that little bit of feral, and then it could bring the rest of them, you know, because they don't want to compromise any of the rest of their stock with that one that could have gotten who knows what out in the actual wild.
Interesting.
So they had to put him down right there in his driveway.
So did they eat him?
So they ended up giving him I guess it's like a tag. So here you go. If you want the pig, here's this tag, take it to the processor. You just pay for the processing.
Okay. So for you, whenever you're going down and hunting these things, where were you guys at? In South Carolina?
We were in South Carolina.
Okay. South Carolina, that's where it seems like from where we're at, everybody goes, kind of migrates down to South Carolina to go hunt these things. What are the tag requirements?
So basically you just get a South Carolina hunting license.
And that's it. You can hunt them. Is there any kind of limit for the day?
No. There's nothing. I mean, they're an invasive species. So you just, everything that I've read, and I mean, I read the whole South Carolina Wildlife website, looking through, make sure I didn't have to buy any special tags or licenses on top of the regular hunting license. So, and it was super easy. Just read through everything, make sure you got all your rules and regulations, and then go for broke.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is they're just destroying everything they come in contact with.
Yeah, and they just, like you said, they don't have a breeding time frame. They breed constantly.
Right.
So
overrun with them.
Oh yeah, it's bad. I mean, on the way in, we just on the dirt road, we were probably 100 yards from the truck. We jumped. It sounded like 2 or 3. I mean, you could hear them, snorting.
Those things are mean too, man.
Yes. So that's the other thing. When you're on the ground with them, there's no telling on, what's going to happen. If you make a bad shot, are they going to turn to you? Which has happened to me in Florida.
Because there's some big hogs out there, man.
Oh yeah,
some monsters.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've got a good history with a couple big ones. So yeah,
makes it fun.
No,
not good history.
Not when you're in a tree the size of your thigh, and you have no other ammunition. You're done. You're waiting.
You better hop on his back and take him for a ride, buddy.
You're waiting for someone to show up and help you out.
Oh man, that dude's just waiting on you.
Yep.
Come down, buddy.
He's going to just lay at the bottom of that tree because he knows what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Good times, man. So when it comes to getting on hogs, all right, so you talked about you guys are feeding these things, drawing them in. So the property, I'm assuming it's not public.
No, it's private property.
So it's private property, and they've got a huge influx of these things on them.
Yeah.
So as far as locating these things, and you guys are scouting for them initially, right? Trying to get on them. What are you looking for right away? I mean, is it just rooting? Is it tracks?
So Joe had everything set up. it's so thick down there.
Yeah.
You have to find openings. So what he did is he's done all this research. You know, he knows the layout really well. It's why it makes him good at what he does. But he had one sky feeder, I call it, that he had in an open area that you could get probably 40 yards shot out of, and then another one that was super tight down in the swamp that he knew that the hogs were coming in. But even getting to them is a pain.
Is it?
Yeah, because if there's thorns, I'm going to find them.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything is so overgrown that it's just you're bushwhacking to the front spot anyways to get back there. I mean, when we set everything in the feeder, I mean, we were doubled up on the 4-wheeler and just run over stuff.
Dude, it's so hot right now too.
It is a little warm.
So how bad were the bugs when you guys were out there?
So they weren't terrible.
Really? That's super surprising because it's been incredibly wet and it is unreal hot.
We loaded up on the Sawyer's Picadarren lotion. So I got the lotion.
Did you use that Promethean on your clothing? Because ticks are bad too, man, but that stuff works fantastically.
Yeah, I sprayed my clothes down the week prior to us going. I knew we were going to go out, within that week. So I went ahead and sprayed them all down, let them dry, and then I put scent-free stuff on them. I used nose jammer. And then let them just air out, and then I put them all on, and I put lotion on everywhere that was like transition from skin to clothes. So head, neck area, try not to get it on your face because it will burn.
Yeah.
Hands into wrists, and then legs, I could put it around my waist so I don't get ticks, through my shirt. And then my bottom of my legs where my boots go.
And whenever it comes to like hunting, is there like a preferred time of year? So it's like, hey, when it's hot and humid, that's the best time to get on them. Winter time's good. Like, when is the ideal time? Because what I've noticed, what it seems like with most people are hunting these hogs, it seems like it's typically in the off season when it's hot, when they're not hunting deer, whitetail.
I don't know if there's necessarily like a great season. So if it's cool enough, you can run dogs and get them with knives.
Okay.
You don't want to overheat the dogs, so you can't run them in the summer.
Right.
Because, I mean,
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So bow, rifle, anything you can do in the off season. I want to do it because I want to stay behind the riser. I'm tired of shooting foam. I'm tired of shooting dots. I want to shoot at something that maybe I can help, slim out the population a little bit. Not me, but other people slimming out the population. And then it's that you cannot match that feeling of sitting at full draw, looking through your peep at an animal.
Right.
Knowing that I'm about to take a life. You can't match that feeling. No foam, no paper, nothing's going to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely different, right? So like total archery events and stuff like that, you can go shoot those all day, become very proficient, very good shooting distance, shooting these different terrains, different elevation, different angles. But ultimately, when it comes down to putting that pin on something that's alive, it's a completely different feeling. And it seems like to me, it's a great way to kind of bridge the gap between, your off season going into getting ready for, whitetail or elk or whatever you're getting ready for, because you can do it in the off season and you can get in there, repeat that feeling of getting ready to shoot something that's actually alive.
Yep. That was my whole purpose of wanting to do this, was to stay behind the riser.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I know it's hot, but it's going to be hot here in September when our bow season opens.
It'll be the same temperature as it is right now.
Yeah. 95 to 100, it's still hot. It doesn't matter what temperature it is, but everything's moving. When I come back off the base at night from work or, the archery range, there's deer moving. I can see them.
I have seen so many deer in this heat and like middle of the day. I just got back from Kentucky too. And we were out there. I was driving the back roads there. And dude, I have seen an unreal amount of movement middle of the day in this heat right now, from North Carolina all the way to Kentucky. We were driving through West Virginia on the side of the highway in the mountains. It was West Virginia or Virginia. And right off the highway, right on a ledge, is a buck bedded down. Right in the shade. But I'm literally no more than 50 yards off the busy highway. And this was a good sized deer bedded down in an incredibly difficult spot to get to. But he was out there.
Yeah, they're definitely moving. And it's been an odd year because it's super windy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that has something to do with, maybe it brings the temperature down a little bit.
I don't know where.
For them, in the woods. But, they're moving 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening when it's, still 97 degrees out.
Yeah.
in a heat advisory. I mean, they don't get that heat advisory alert like we do, but and got to eat.
Gotta eat, man. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's brutal out, but there has been a ton of movement. So when you guys were down there, were the hogs, like, did you see a bunch of them?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So we jumped the 1, maybe 2 on the way in, and then maybe 30 yards, there was right off the path, there was a deer bedded. Jumped it too. And then as we came in, we came around the swamp. We used the cut of the swamp to get in to kind of mask our scent a little bit. And there was probably 4, 5, 6 of them bedded within 70 yards.
And they're hanging out in a group?
That's these ones were.
Okay.
Just because they were smaller. Generally, from what my understanding is, the smaller ones will kind of migrate around the mother, the sow, until they're old enough to kind of be on their own, and then they're just kicked out.
So are you hunting both sows and boars?
Everything.
If it moves, it's fair game.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize that scent was that big a deal with the hogs.
I didn't either.
Huh.
I did not either. But I mean, and you can tell. So when I had one of the arrows was laying on the ground, and then it did have a lighted knock. So it's one of two things. The hog smelled it, and as soon big boar hog came in. I mean, big. As soon as he came in, he got either saw the lighted knock laying on the ground or got a smell of it. I think it was a little bit of both, and he literally trotted off the opposite direction. He's not worried about the food. He's gone.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking the same approach essentially whenever it comes to like whitetail hunting.
I mean, you almost have to. I mean, get high, get fast.
That's a steep angle with the bow, man.
Very steep. I do not hunt that high.
Yeah.
And it was, so he had me set up the sticks. I'm exponentially shorter than him. So he was like, all right, we're going to set them up for you, because otherwise, if he sets them up, I would never be able to climb. Mm-hmm. So all 4 of my trophy line and 2 of his sticks with aiders. I mean, we were, 35, 40 feet in the tree.
That's up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like being up that
I don't either.
with a bow, man. It's just that angle is just tough.
Once you kind of settle in, it's not, so you don't want to shoot, obviously, at 8 yards.
Right.
The shot I took, the closest shot, was, I think, 26.
Okay, so that's not terrible, but it's deceiving.
It's very steep, yes.
Yeah, it's deceiving when you look down, because where you can think the vitals are, I mean, it's very easy to hit high, single lung,
or nothing.
No man's land, it seems like.
Yes.
But so going back to it, when you're locating these hogs, what does the terrain look like? Is it typically always around the swampy, wet stuff?
Yeah.
So if you're going to find
swampy
hogs, you're going to look for near rivers, near marshes, swamp.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's where because they go and they wallow in, mud pits and things like that. So they're very predominant Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. They haven't really made it very far. I mean, we've seen a couple. Yeah.
So I was talking to Zach and he's had a couple here that he's had on camera, but nothing that is going to bring anybody here to hunt hogs.
Right.
It's like 1 or 2 on the property, nothing in mass.
No, not like that.
Not like whenever it's crazy, because whenever you get down to South Carolina, just how dense the population is for them.
And it only gets worse the further south you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like we did that dog hog hunt in Florida in January, February, and they literally open up the wildlife management preserve to hog hunters. Go kill them all.
Wow.
Because they're tearing up that much.
It's that big of a problem.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. So what about when it comes to like food? Are they just grazing all day on whatever they can get a hold of?
Yeah. Essentially. I mean, spoiled anything. So you can't put, and I'm learning a lot. So put fresh corn in the feeder. Make sure there's no moisture, no anything in there, because that'll actually jam up the feeder.
Yes.
But when it throws on the ground, it doesn't matter. Set it on a timer, hour and a half before sunset, and then once it goes off, it's just going to get real quiet.
So you're feeding them at twice a day?
I think he's only got it set up for once.
For once a day, and that's whenever you want to be there.
Yep.
So you guys are hunting these things during the day?
Late afternoon into the evening.
Okay.
So if they come out during the day, if you get a daylight shot, you're really lucky.
Okay, because that's from more so what I've seen. I see a lot of guys that are running thermals, night vision stuff, and they're hunting them at night with rifles. So you guys are, which is cool. You guys are doing it with the bow, which to me is,
it's very difficult.
Yes,
very difficult. So I had to buy a light for my bow, which actually screws into the stabilizer. And then there's a remote that sits on the front of the grip of my riser that you click it on. It's got to be super dim, and then you dial it to where it intensifies the brightness of the bulb to where you can barely see. Once you can see a silhouette, you put your pins on it that are also lighted. And then if your anchor point's not right, if you don't have that perfect, if you're not looking through your peep, you're done.
So let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and get into your gear and bow setup, because that's interesting. So what bow are you running for this?
PSE Mach 30.
So the Mach 30, fantastic bow. I have one. How many pounds are you shooting with that?
70.
70 pounds. You're roughly 28 and a half, 28 and a half inches in draw length. What is your arrow build for hog hunt? Does it differ from your turkey or your whitetail build?
Nope. I'll leave everything the same. I try not to change a whole lot, even for tack. So I'm running the Easton 5.0s with 4 Fletch. I think it's a heat vane, bony heat vane, with a wrap on it, and then 100 grains field point broadhead. I'm using the Sever 1.5 hybrids. 50 grains of brass in the front, 440 grain total arrow weight. So it's running like 287, 290 feet per second.
So that's sweet spot.
Yeah. I mean, and it's with the EC2 cam on that PSE, it's just so smooth. You're not going to beat that cam. I've shot everything that you carry and, some others, and it's just not, there's nothing that's going to beat that cam.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. It's a very smooth and forgiving cam, and it gets really good speeds out of it, especially for the shorter draw length guys like myself, 28 and a half inches, 70, 74 pounds. I think putting a 420 to 460 grain arrow is scooting. So you're shooting the 5.0s, and you said you were using the Sever 1.5 hybrid. You're using that for everything you're hunting, including hogs?
Everything.
No issues as far as penetration?
Absolutely not. I have not, unless it's my error.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with, and I've done all the research. I've done everything. My background is in aviation, and when you put a fixed blade on the front of an arrow, you're essentially putting a wing on it, which a wing with a tail is very hard to steer. And so once you get it dialed, it's going to be hard to beat. There's just not enough blood trail for me. I've lost an animal due to, straight pass through, everything was good. There was just no blood. Yeah,
so that's one of the issues that I had, especially for where we're hunting, right? Because as soon as you shoot something, it runs off and it's super thick and it's very hard. You have to track it via blood. That's the only way you're going to find this thing. And they typically run down to water or in the thickest area within the area that you're hunting, and locating becomes very difficult. And that's one of the things that I had an issue with was with a fixed blade broadhead. The wound, the penetration was phenomenal. The wound, you get straight pass through, but the wound would seal back up for me if it didn't have a bleeder on it specifically. So, and one of the things that you see and that you read, the research shows that more animals are recovered with mechanical broadheads.
It's 2 holes are better than 1, always.
Yes.
And if you look at muscle lines, if the broadhead happens to go through a muscle line, when the deer moves its leg or any kind of muscle, and that, it's going to open up for 1 stroke, but then on the opposite stroke, it's going to close. So if you don't have that bleeder, you're not having constant, blood flow.
Yes.
So that's the Sever one. When they came out with that hybrid, the 1.5 hybrid, it was just like, okay. And that's like 2.2 inches of total cut. And there's, massive holes. You saw the deer that I shot last year with it. Now they just came out with the 1.75 hybrid. Oh yeah, just hit yesterday. They're already on the way.
They dropped it yesterday?
Yeah, I think so, yesterday. And the 2.0 hybrid.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't shoot the hybrids. I've shot the 1.75s and the 2s. And the thing I like about the Sever is the durability, right? It's a titanium ferrule, isn't it?
It is.
So super durable, super reliable. The flight on them is fantastic. And the cool thing about the Sever that you get out of it is how the actual blades, you can lock them closed and you can practice with it.
Yep.
So that's one of the big things for me, because majority of your broadheads, they have a
practice tip
that's supposed to simulate the actual broadhead, but it's never 100% right because it's a different design.
Sure.
It'll weigh the same, but it doesn't have...
Maybe.
Yeah, with close, but it's not exactly what you're shooting. So there is a deviation. And the thing with the Sever is... you can practice with exactly what you're hunting with. You can lock the blades, practice with it, and then you can unlock the blades and take that same broadhead if you wanted to and go hunt with it.
Yeah,
and you can replace the blades on it, and that ferrule is super durable, so you don't have to worry about that bending or breaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for me, I'm not going to replace the blades.
Right.
At $20, I'm going to buy a new broadhead.
Which is cool because you can buy them individually too.
Right.
So you can replace that one missing broadhead in your quiver versus having to buy 3
Absolutely.
or 4-pack.
They've really kind of, I think, in my opinion, cornered the market. You can buy one. You don't have to buy a 3-pack. It's got the bolt that you lock the blades in. It comes with the bolt, I think the Allen key for that bolt because it's super tiny, and extra O-rings because it does use an O-ring on the back to keep it closed.
Right.
And I just put an O-ring, one of the extra ones, I slide it down my arrow just in case.
I learned that from you. So that's what I started doing too. That's super smart to do because you always have that extra O-ring on you. Mm-hmm. So like you said, you take and actually slide it down to the back of the arrow.
Yeah, I put it right at the front of the fletchings.
Yep.
It doesn't affect flight. It's not going to do anything. In the event that I jam it into something when I'm, put it in my quiver and it deploys the blades, I'm like, you don't want to be left out, so I can always just throw that right back up there and I'm in the game. Yeah,
that's actually a really good tip. I took that from you from last year and started applying it. It's a great way to hold those extra O-rings in case of an instance where you do definitely deploy those blades, putting them in your quiver or whatnot.
Anything.
Yes. The other cool thing about the Sever too that I like is how the actual blades, when they deploy, they lock open and they pivot. So that's kind of a neat concept as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there, like engineering. I've taken them apart. I've done, like I said, my background's in aviation, so I tend to tinker a lot. They've got actually a Belleville washer in there, which is a concave washer, which keeps constant pressure on the blades. So they're not just flopping around in there. There's always something, right? And then when they do lock, they've got basically a ramp on either side. So if they do tend to hit something hard and don't want to give, it will just a little bit, but then it's going to go right back to where it needs to. And it's got that pivoting, axle. So if it does, one side hits a bone, it's going to then elongate. It's going to take that one in, make this blade even longer until it gets back into a medium, and it's going to level out and keep going. So and the bleeders are fixed. So you've always got that. In the event that it doesn't deploy, you've always got those bleeders that are going to, it's 0.7 inches.
Yeah, it's almost a fail-safe.
It is. So
have you shot that broadhead out to distance at all?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No issues as far as flight?
Nope.
You got a tuned bow, it flies good.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and that's another huge advantage to the mechanical broadheads is I really don't have to, and we do, don't get me wrong, but I don't have to broadhead tune it. If there's any changes, it's going to be so minimal. Whereas if I put the huge fixed blade on the front of it, it's a wing. And the fletchings are now trying to counteract what that wing is doing in the front, unless you get it perfect single bevel, and then it's got to be cocked right in a line with your vanes, so they're not fighting each other. And then now you're broadhead tuning. So there's a million things that go into it. I mean, it's essentially the flight of an aircraft that you're trying to get on an arrow.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I mean, do you think about it? Look at an airplane. It's got 2 wings, and in the tail, you've got your vertical stabilizer and your horizontal stabilizer to keep that thing flying straight and level. That's the way it works. It's science.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not a fan of planes.
Right.
Not a big fan, so yeah, I'll leave that to you. I trust you.
Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The thing too about that I really like about the PSE bows is when it comes to the tuning side of things. The Easy 220 shim system makes it very easy. It's fast. You swap those shims out. You can move that cam left or right just by slightly pressing the bow, pop the shims out, put new ones in, and fix any kind of tear issues that you have. So it's a great system as well when it comes to tuning the bow.
Yeah, and the reliability of it is, I mean, they're not just going to fall out. You don't ever have to mess with it. I mean, I know a guy who leaves his PSE in his car like all the time, and you don't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah, they're durable too. I mean, the carbon line is fantastic. I think that's kind of what I've gravitated towards. I've shot, a bajillion different bows, obviously. Sure. And I was never a carbon guy really until I got the Levitate. And then it kind of PSE, then they came out with the Mach 30, and I've been hooked ever since. I've got a 33, but the Mach 30 is interesting too, because typically a shorter axle to axle bow is a little bit more difficult to shoot, right? Especially out to any kind of distance.
Right.
for whatever reason, the Mach 30 aims, holds, and shoots extremely well for me at extreme distances. I mean, I've shot at total archery events, just messing around at the house, you know, we got Sasquatch, we put them out there, and you can drop bombs all day, and that bow just is very easy to aim and holds on target very well. And it comes back to, I talked to Cooper when we were out I talked to him in Tennessee and Pennsylvania, but the full draw stability that PSE has built into the bows. I don't know all the technical side of it, but we did a video on him where he explains it very well, how you measure it, and then how it works with the bow. And I mean, you can tell a huge difference in that short axle to axle bow versus some of them, just how well it really performs.
Agreed. I literally just slapped a sight tape on that thing. I bought the extended sight tape for it. 120 on Monday, just nailed a balloon.
Yeah.
At 120, one shot.
Yeah.
That's a poke.
Can't argue with that.
No.
I need to get Cooper on here. He'll be able to go through and explain all the technical side.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to understand it, but
he does a very good job of explaining it.
Yeah.
I mean, he really can dumb it down for someone like me to understand it. And to really get a better idea of how it works.
Yeah.
But let's go back to it. So when you're hunting these hogs, your sight, what sight are you running on the bow?
It's the Spot Hog Fast Eddy.
Okay, the Spot Hog Fast Eddy. You're hunting these with that light you said that's mounted in your stabilizer hole?
Yeah, so there's a light in the scope housing. So I had to buy the extra light to go in the scope housing to illuminate the bins.
Okay.
I think the last shot that I took was like at 940.
Oh, so so you're
dark.
hunting into the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's more of what I thought. Whenever I think hog hunting, I think more nighttime is from what I've seen, aside from running dogs.
Sure. So the one that came in right at the end of last light was just sheer luck. He was, big bore hog. He runs the roost. He was a beautiful animal. He was bright orange. You could tell like the razorback on him. He was beautiful animal. And then everything else came in after dark. It was just dark enough to where you couldn't see anything. So there's it's called Wicked Lights. It mounts into my stabilizer, and then it's got a external cord that runs to the trigger up to my grip. So there's double-sided tape or Velcro you can put on there, but I don't like it stuck there. Once I get into the tree or wherever I'm at, I can move it up and leave it to where it's at. My hand will hold the strap that's on the back of it. So you make sure it's all the way dim, and you have to use a red light because green lights, they're very skittish.
Really? So
yes.
I've talked to other people that have mixed feelings on that. They run a green light for them.
Yep. I've done the same thing. Shooting hogs with a rifle in Georgia, I would say you have a little bit more time because, my buddy, and it takes two of us, so he would run a green light, start high, come low until I can see through the scope, identify the target, pull trigger. But once you shoot a rifle, they're gone.
Right.
They're not coming back. So if I can take, and this is obviously talking with Joe at Apex Outdoors and Taxidermy, he's like, get the red light, turn it all the way low, put the trigger in the front to where you can dial it with your middle finger, ring finger, intensify the brightness, and then to where you can see the hog with your pins. Make sure you're in your peep because that's the only downfall is you got to make sure you're in your peep. And then let it rip.
Did you have any issues getting into your peep? Because that is, in the dark, trying to locate that and line everything up is a challenge.
So my anchor point is very consistent. I do I shoot a lot, right? And I make sure the string is on a certain point in my nose. Like during hunting season, my nose will be like rubbed raw on the end of it because I shoot so much. But I know my anchor point. Joe uses a nose button just for that reason. Once he's in the nose button, he knows what he's looking at is through his peep. I just don't like a nose button because it'll really rub my nose raw. But that's just me. But I know, I did not have success. So don't take that into account.
So yeah, Joe's a hunter. He hunts like year round. Every time I talk to him, he's going hunting something, whether he's, all turkey season, he's putting guys on turkeys, he's hog hunting. And then, from going out west to whitetail, he spends a lot of time in the woods. So very well versed, and definitely a guy worth talking to if you got questions on spending time in the woods. But, remember when we were in, I think it was Pennsylvania, that guy came up with that peep that had the glow around the actual aperture or the peep sight itself.
My only concern with that is if it's too bright, it may mess with the dilation of your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So you can't, if it's, I mean, it's
if
something
it was just a
this
faint
close.
glow.
Yeah. But I mean, my peep is like, I mean, from my nose to like, right. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would screw up because especially with the spot hog where it's got the huge rings on it.
Those MRT rings.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to, I don't, great idea. Don't get me wrong. I don't know
It was interesting. I thought it was cool.
I don't know the application necessarily, like how it
Well, that was his whole thought, right? His whole thing when he presented it to us when we were sitting there eating dinner.
Yeah.
He was like, so when are you going to shoot majority of your animals? Low light scenarios, early morning, late afternoon. What is one of the biggest issues? Locating, and lining up your peep site. So it was a cool concept, but that is another good, point to consider. Is it going to mess with your eyes to where you can't see?
Right. Is it going to illuminate my eye?
Where it kills your night vision, essentially.
Right. Yeah. Because then once you come off of that animal,
I'm blind.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I don't, plus it's going to give you the ability to shoot probably later than you should.
Well, not if you're hunting hogs.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, if he's designed it around that, it's a great.
But how big is that niche?
Well, hog hunting,
yeah.
Go to Texas. It's huge. There's flying
with a bow?
helicopter. Well, yeah, probably not with a bow. I think Chris B shot one with a bow from a helicopter.
Did he?
Yes. Insane.
Wow.
Yeah, impressive.
That is, yeah.
It's hard enough to shoot just sitting on the ground, standing up out of a tree. Dude shot one out of a helicopter with a bow. Super impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how all that would work.
Well, he don't either, but he made it happen.
Yeah. Because the rotor wash is going to instantly change the trajectory.
There's a video on it that I watched. I swear it was him, and he smoked one.
I'd be curious.
Well, if anyone wants to loan us a helicopter for us to try it, Brian's willing to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do anything once.
Okay, so bow setup, you're running the PSE Mach 30. You've got that spot hog sight on there, and you've running that light to light up your pins, and then you're running
the wicked lights on my stabilizer.
Lights on your stabilizer.
Yep.
So you guys are running two lights together. He's running one, and then you're running one off the actual bow?
No. So my bow, I've got the external light on my scope.
Yes.
To light up my pins, and then I've got my light on my bow. So once you get to full draw, you turn it on as low as possible, and then you slowly intensify. At this point, he's not shooting.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's not doing anything but watching
sense.
me screw this up, right? So, and I didn't realize, so I live in the city, and it's very hard to get low light shots where I'm at. So I mean, I'm taking off the floodlights, the motion lights on the back of my house. I'm undoing them. There's still a street light, and then I got a baseball field behind me. So low light shots are very hard for me to do. But I got it as best I could. I didn't realize I could focus the light, so you can like make it wider or narrower on the actual light itself. I didn't know that. So as full bright as it would go, my beam was just so wide, I could only pull out silhouettes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So the biggest thing at night is identifying yardage, right? So ranging an animal. So when it comes to that, have you already pre-ranged everything and now you've kind of have a rough idea, but that still can kind of be deceiving in the dark?
Very much so. Very much so. This is probably one of the hardest things I've done with a bow in my hand. And especially shooting in low light or no light, so I know this tree stump is cut down. It's at 22 yards. Easy day, right? Well, it doesn't look like it's 22 yards in the dark. Oh, by the way, you can't see that.
You got to try to relocate it and then
figure out, okay, well, now this animal is 5 yards past that XYZ. We had 22, 28, 36, and we had it all ranged, all different markers. But then
everything looks different in the dark.
100%. So
that's where I would assume that a bow that's shooting a little bit faster and a little bit flatter would come into play and make things a little bit easier. If you're going from, 28 to 32 yards, that flatter trajectory, you're going to have more margin of error available. Is that how you say it?
Yes. So but it all comes down to how proficient you are and how much you trust your equipment.
Yes.
And then knowing the animal, right? This is where I screwed up.
So that's the other thing, right? So knowing vitals on an animal.
So I know the vitals.
Okay.
I did not realize. So if you were to take a wild pig and cut it into thirds, right, horizontally, the spine is not in the top third. It's in the second third. Yeah. So, and then here's we'll start another debate, because the video that I shot, I hit him in no man's land. It was above his spine in like the upper brisket, if you'll call it that. So he's going to be fine. No, I mean, he walked away. We watched him. Did he duck the string at 26, 28 yards? Or did he duck the arrow? Did he hear the sound of the arrow? It all happened so fast.
Or did you just make a bad shot?
Oh, you could see him duck in the video.
Can you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Little short legs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's how they live. He's priming to run. He's not ducking. He's just priming his legs like a basketball player to jump.
And how far was that shot? You said 26 yards?
Yeah, 26 to 28 ish. Yeah. And I'm not a bad shot, I promise.
Oh, I know. I'm very well aware. You are an excellent shooter.
And they don't stop moving. They do not stop moving. They're constantly moving. So you can't, and you don't really want to lead them. But I did not think, even if he didn't duck, I would have spined him.
So they're not walking out and giving you a shot like a deer does. How a deer, whenever it's on high alert, it'll stand there, perk up. He's constantly
moving,
just moving.
Eat, lift his head up, smell. Eat, lift his head up, smell. Constantly moving. And then, obviously, the later in the evening, the smaller pigs will start coming out, which now makes your target even smaller. And it's just like a lot of learning occurred.
Yeah, everything's working against you in the dark, too. I mean, you got the dark, you've got an animal that's constantly moving, trying to range things, pick up a target or range, pre-ranged indicators so you can get a range on this animal.
Right.
And then trying to locate your peep sight, line it up with your sight housing, activate that light that you're running on your bow.
Yeah,
sounds like a good time.
It is. It's a little hectic, and I think I rushed my shot. I got excited. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a beautiful boar hog coming in. Let's go. And then it was just, I went right through the click on the Onyx clicker. I went right through it. So 100% my fault. And then I double checked my bow. I put the bow away, took the broadheads off that night because I didn't get home till like 2:30. Pulled it out the next day. At 46 yards, I'm grouping in the size of a tennis ball. No problem. So I'm like, well, it's definitely me.
Did you guys, and that was out of a stand, right?
So yeah, we were just climbers. Not climbers, but saddles, sorry.
Oh, saddles. Okay. Yeah. So what about, didn't you guys put a stalk on one?
We did. So getting out of the tree, recover my arrows. His phone went off. It's 10 something at night. He goes, bro, there's a big boar hog in the front spot. You want to put a stalk on it? I go, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take my pistol just in case. So we go in, and it's so thick. We're just catching briars, and it's 100 degrees, pouring sweat. So we have to cut around and try and play the wind. Now we're in just above ankle deep water, trudging through the swamp. It's dark as under the bed, right? And you can't, you're walking through the swamp. So we're hanging onto trees, trying not to fall, bow in our hand with that little red light barely illuminating where we're going to step next. And I'm just following him because we're going to try. When we got in there, he was probably 20 to 30 yards. He was still there because his camera was going off every 7 minutes, I think he said. It had to be 20, 30 yards. We could smell him, and you could hear him just grunting and just trying to eat all of that corn that was in that water and that mud. And then you hear him kind of take off a little bit, and then we kind of were able to track him a little bit, but then once it got to a certain distance, you can't see and or shoot through those trees.
Yeah, so what were you guys going to just estimate the range on him?
Well, so he knows where the feeder is, and he knows he's got markers,
Okay, so he's pre-set up everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Smart.
So he knows what he's doing for sure. There's no doubt about that. Like you said, he's very well versed in putting a stalk on these animals. I was just the only time we've ever done that, gotten that close to him on the ground, was with dogs. And We didn't have any of that.
So go back to it. So shot placement now. So you said you were high. So where are you aiming to shoot these things? Is it right behind, just way lower than you anticipated?
Way lower, a little farther back.
A little further back. Okay.
Yeah. It's because they have the shield. Hogs have the, everyone talks about the shield. Their hide is super thick anyways. So depending upon the size of the animal, obviously it's going to change, but just above, I would say 2-3 inches above the rib line or the bottom of him, and probably 2-3 inches back from the elbow. I was in line, perfect. I was just high.
Yeah.
So
you don't think that had to do with the angle from not being used to shooting from so high?
Maybe. I didn't even take it into account.
Yeah.
But it is 100% my fault that I whiffed that one. But I mean, I know I hit him because the arrow was laying on the ground 4 or 5 yards behind him, completely sideways. So, and it was covered with just like meat juice.
Yeah.
And hair. So, like what I said, when that other boar hog came out, I mean, he was probably another 60 pounds on the one that I shot at. He came out. I don't know if he smelled. I know that he smelled the arrow, saw the knock, one of the two, or maybe both, and then he booked it.
So is the lighted knock kind of like a necessity when shooting these things?
If you want to film.
Yeah. If you want to film, got to film everything.
Right. I mean, to get notoriety or, have the opportunity to do more of this.
Yeah.
But once that knock is out there, now it's like, oh, they're going to stay away from that because that's now any other predator, not that they have any natural predators, can see them.
So there aren't any real predators for...
I mean, maybe down in Florida with snakes. And you got to get a big
I figure
one.
like coyotes or something would be...
Only on small ones.
Really?
Yeah, but you're not getting on a big boar hog. Yep, it's us.
It's us. Well, you got work to do, my friend.
I know.
We need to get out there together and do it. That sounds fun.
It's just so hot.
Oh, dude, it is so unbelievable right now. It's brutal.
I can't give enough credit to Joe. He's done this a lot. He had a little battery operated fan. Like he had it tied up around his pack, and he's like, I hear this like, zzz, and I look up at him.
Drones flying around us.
But it wasn't that loud. It was super quiet. It's like brushless. I mean, the guy's done his research. He's like leaning up against another tree because it's wide out, and I'm like, are you serious?
Dude, that's a good tactic for mosquitoes too.
Yeah.
Keep the mosquitoes off you.
Both thermocells running. I mean, full bore. And then he had his fan going. So it didn't do me any good. But he also did not hear the first hog come in that I was able to hear because I did not have that little bit of zzz,
right.
So
are they pretty quiet moving around?
So the one single that came in was super quiet. Like I was like, I mean, he's like, how'd you see that? I was like, I don't know. I'm used to tracking whitetail, But then when I think 6, 7, 8 of them came out, when it was like really dark, they were not quiet. We're coming in, we're eating, we're letting you know we're here.
So would you go back to hunting with a bow again?
100%.
Yeah. So compare that to you've also got experience with running dogs and hunting with the knives.
Yeah.
Do you favor one over the other?
I prefer bow hunt. Anything with a bow in my hand.
I'm the same way.
And I mean, the hog hunting with a knife was cool. It's a great story.
Yeah. So tell the story real quick because it is cool.
So he called me. He goes, hey, you want to go hunt hogs down in Florida? And I was like, yeah, man, sounds like a great idea.
We're on the road now.
He goes, all right, we're leaving next week. Bring your K-bar. K-bar is a Marine Corps issued knife. I'm like, what? No. Hung up the phone. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I grew up in Florida. I know what these animals are capable of. So I do some research, get on the YouTube, look up hog hunting with a knife. Everyone's running dogs. So I call, are you running dogs? He goes, yeah, of course. I go, oh, okay. I thought you were just walking through the woods with a knife in your hand like Rambo. So shoot down to Florida. My wife's sister still lives in like that town. She still lives there. So I stayed with them. And then we get with his buddy, which is another Joe. They call him Flo Joe because he's from Florida. Flo Joe's got a whole kennel set. I mean, it's like the Taj Mahal of dog kennels. Like it's a nice building, AC inside for the dogs. He leaves the radio on so they have something to listen to. Like it's like legit. So vest up the dogs, and then he's got tracking collars on them all. and we've got a vest on with just gear, snacks, water, XYZ, travel light because you're running. And as soon as the dogs start barking, their collar goes off, and it'll tell you on your handheld, on your Garmin, general direction, and it'll tell you which dog is barking. Start running. And you're like just beating through palmettos. Just don't pull your knife out yet. Just wait until you get close. And then he's like, just grab it by the tail or the back leg, and then yell caught hog. When you yell caught hog, the dogs will try and come off of it a little bit, not much. They're going to do everything they can to protect you. But the hog is so dense, it can't turn to get you if you've got it by the tail and the back leg. Yeah, it doesn't have the mobility to turn and get you with its, tusks or cutters. So grab it, flip it over, pull your knife out, and then let her eat. That did not happen with mine. He ran in. It's January in Florida. I mean, it's not hot by any means. I think it was like the high was like 58. Mine ran right into a pond. So I get to the pond, knife out, boom, run right in. Don't hesitate. I mean, at that point, you either have that gear or you don't. I mean, that's all there is. So now I grab this hog, and at a certain point, I was able to walk for most of it, but at a certain point, it was too deep for me. I'm like 5'8" when I cough. So I'm treading water, and I've got a hold of this hog with one leg in my left hand and my knife in my right, and I'm treading water. And then I freaking hit him once, and then, you hear him squeal in the video because it's all on my GoPro. Now I've got to pull him and 4 dogs into the shore. Oh, by the way, I just did a 100-yard dash through the palmettos before I went in the water. So I pull him onto the shore, and it's chaos, right? Dogs are going crazy. Dogs are just trying to kill this thing to, essentially protect me. So I pull this thing onto the shore. They're yelling caught hog, and then there's certain dogs like that if they get too close to each other, they will end up fighting each other.
Oh, wow.
So you got to try to keep those away, right? And then also maintain the hog. So then I pulled on the shore, hit it again, and then you just kind of basically run it in like a sewing machine needle, and then boom, he was done. So it was like, all right, cool. So we marked it, we left him, and then keep going. Now I'm soaking wet. It's 58 degrees.
That's cold in Florida.
Yeah. And I'm just sloshing through all day. And it was just gross mud. Everyone, my wife included, is like, what if there was an alligator in there? I'm like, well, I didn't think about that. There might have been.
There probably wasn't. You're good.
Well, probably wasn't. I go with that. But, you don't think about those things. That adrenaline's going. You're going. And then we got a bunch of little ones, too. So, it was fun. It was a cool experience. It was definitely different than I've ever done. Dude,
so that's the thing. So when I did it, I just remember how mean those hogs were because we had an instant where, those dogs get a hold of those hogs and they hold them down, and those dogs are mean. Like they had dogs that they would run the hogs with, and then they would have a different set of dogs that they would put on the actual hogs to get a hold of them, hold them down. And there were these dogs hold this one hog down, and it busted loose, did something, but it ended up ripping off one of the dog's lower jaws. Oh. They had to put the dog down while we were out there.
Yeah.
It was, and that just lets you know, you're out there trying to get on these things with a knife, so you're up close and personal. That thing can tear you up, man. They are mean.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the big ones. There were some monsters that were killed when we were down in South Carolina.
Yeah, the one I shot, he was a pretty good size. He had good teeth on him. And then
those tusks, man, are
he was probably 2.5, 3 inches. Come to find out, he had been caught before. Yeah, so I said the same thing.
He's got experience.
Well, there's certain groups of people that think that hog hunting is the way that we do it is not ethical, right?
Understandable.
So, sure. It was pretty quick the way I did it, and the way that I killed every other hog that weekend. I ended up killing 5 or 6.
Oh,
just
wow.
myself.
You put work in.
Oh, yeah. But it's so fast that it's not inhumane to the hog at all. The run, everything like that, sure. But someone had caught this, obviously in a pen, and cut his ears off. Mm. So it's what I was told is it's called a dog killer, because people that don't like people running dogs will catch a hog, cut his ears off, because that's one of the primary places a dog will grab it. Dog grabs a hog by the ear, it's so close it can't get him with his teeth. Right? So if you take that away, what is the dog now grabbing onto? Probably nothing.
Yeah,
or
there's not
neck.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so thick and so dense.
Yep. So
I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
That's wild. So somebody caught it, cut its ears off, and let him go?
Yep. I got pictures of it. I mean, it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I had zero idea. I mean, I grew up there. I didn't know that people were doing this. I mean, it's an invasive species. The state of Florida opens up the wildlife management area for this.
There's
because
so many.
they're so invasive.
Yeah, it seems like there's so many invasive species down in Florida. You've got snakes, you've got those iguanas
Yeah.
that dudes are shooting with pellet guns and stuff. That's a whole venture in itself. I mean, there's like guides that take people out doing that.
Yeah.
And it's right in the middle of housing.
Oh, yeah.
That,
Alligators,
and then
too.
Alligators, hogs. I mean, if you want to go hunt something in the hot marsh,
it's so hot.
go to Florida. Good Lord, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to grab alligators growing up from an airboat. You can tell how big they are. So you wear like a spotlight and you just take your hand, like, a rock on symbol. And the further their eyes are apart, that's how bigger they are. Yeah. Grab them right behind the neck.
Can't get you.
No.
Oh, Steve Irwin over here.
No, absolutely not.
Riding that thing is back.
Yeah.
So again, so you like the bow side of things better than actual running the dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the success rate is obviously much higher when you run the dogs.
In my instance,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I just imagine you just get on them more often, and because it's not a waiting game; it's an active, it's active pursuit.
Yeah.
So you're chasing them down.
Well, I think if I hadn't muffed it, we would have probably put down 3 or 4 that night.
Oh wow!
So the lighted knocks definitely were not a help at all.
I almost feel like you would have to run a lighted knock to locate your arrow, because as soon as that shot goes off, I mean, it's hard enough to locate an arrow in the day when you shoot a whitetail.
Yeah.
Now trying to shoot something in the dark, trying to locate that initial blood, I feel like a lighted knock would almost be essential.
Yeah, but it's so bright. It was like Christmas lights out there. I was like, oh my gosh, which made everything else more difficult to see because your eyes generally want to focus to that light.
Right.
So now you're looking away, and now we're messing with night vision and X, Y, Z. So lesson learned.
Lesson learned. That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
So what about when it comes to the processing side of things? Because obviously you've been successful before on the hogs. So are you guys processing and eating these things, or are they just not?
The one we did down in Florida was just a catch and kill.
Gotcha.
The bigger they are, generally the tougher the meat is. It's not very good, disease ridden because there's so many of them, X, Y, Z. But the little ones, absolutely. Well, I mean, we'll throw them in a cooler and bring them home. You're going to have pork for days.
So how big is a little one we're talking about? Like under 100 pounds? Like
80.
80 pounds.
We'll call 80 a little one, yeah.
Okay.
60 to 80 pounds. But then, I mean, big ones. He sent me a picture. Somebody shot one at 328 pounds in South Carolina.
That's a Could you imagine wrestling that thing, dude?
No.
That thing's a monster. I wonder what the tusks were like on it, how big they were.
It's hard to tell in the picture. And I mean, obviously, when people take pictures, they're standing behind it, hung up. They're a lot further behind it than,
That's what I have to do.
yeah, to make it look bigger, right? Cut its hair a little bit. But so it's hard to tell, especially because once they're covered in mud, generally when they're that big, that's how they stay cool. So it's everywhere. And then there's, you add in the blood and the, running through everything. So they sat on the hoof. It weighed 328 pounds.
That's huge.
Yeah. Shot with a rifle. So I'm
Probably
sure.
a smart move.
Yeah. I'm sure thermal, all that. So it's a game.
Yeah, dude, I'd like to do the bow hunting side of things. That would be fun. I mean, it's obviously challenging. I mean, and I think your success rate is probably going to be a lot lower, especially initially getting into it, trying to learn those learning curves.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, that would be probably the most fun.
So I've never really had to, and that was the other thing. When you're sitting at full draw, always, my front hand is completely relaxed. I'm not holding on anything. Now I'm trying to dial a light.
Yeah.
To try and, figure all this whole thing out. And it's just very challenging. I'm gonna go back. I need redemption.
So okay. So from there, what are your top tips that you would give somebody getting into this right out of the gate from what you've learned initially for the bow hunting side of things?
Try and go in as scent free as possible. That's huge because I mean you could tell that the big boar hogs were coming in, and if they didn't if something smelled off, they were trying to move and get downwind of you. They're a lot smarter than I gave them credit for. A lot smarter than I gave them credit for. The smaller ones are just going to come into food. They don't care. They're just, I'm hungry. Let's go. They're not tuned in yet. Lighted knocks are a no-go unless you're going to shoot one and done, maybe two. I think you can get away with two, but that's it. And then being able to work your gear, work that light, work everything you need to do it well beforehand. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get into almost complete darkness and start turning this light on. So I'm going to talk to, because there's an archery range on the base close to me. I'm going to talk to the game warden, see if I can go in there after hours. Just me solo. He can go out there if he wants. I don't care. But I'm going to work at this light and just shoot at a target, and just try and get more proficient.
Yeah, so that's the biggest takeaway, huh?
That's it. Yeah, being able to work that light and then being able to identify, like get in your peep, get on those pins, and make a good, clean, ethical shot. I mean, there's trees out there, so I'm going to try and take my saddle and sticks and get in a tree and do it and shoot at a target, at night. I mean, it's going to be a little sketchy, but as long as I have the game warden's permission, I mean, it should be okay.
Yeah, pre-hang it during the day and then climb up there. Because climbing up in the dark, if you're not used to doing it, is
especially in the off season.
And that's one of the good things too. Though you're getting in that work, pre-hanging stands, getting back in the game, checking your equipment, making sure your ropes and everything are good. And so again, just another great way to get into the hunting side of things.
I start climbing end of July. Anyways.
Yes, I know you do. Insane. You do that video where you're out there. I don't remember what you named it, but you're in the woods and it's the middle of July and it's smoking hot and you're sweating climbing trees.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna sweat in August anyways. Yeah. So I'm a sweater. It's an effective cooling system.
Indeed.
So it's gonna happen. So I may as well just get as comfortable as I can doing it early, because like there is that rust of oh crap, how do I set this stick up? How do you
pack it out again?
Yeah.
Configuring your pack setup to get back in the woods. That's one of the big ones too. You forget how you've stacked these sticks and this platform together and how you're carrying it on your back.
So I'm running the Trophy Line Plateau pack, and I've got it almost perfect. I mean, I put the stand on the clips on my back. The sticks are underneath the actual fanny pack part of it, and it's just from then on, it's just packing things in the pack. Like my camera gear, my camera arm, all of those things I have to get back into strategically placing those because I couldn't find my saw. It was underneath everything. So I was like, just crap, At
least you're learning all those things now again, right?
Right, but I'm pouring sweat.
Yeah, no doubt. So what about as far as hunting the hogs with the bow versus whitetail? Is there any difference in your pack loadout, any gear that you don't take that you do take with hogs or vice versa? Or is it essentially the same loadout?
I run the same loadout.
Same thing.
Yeah. I literally took, because I put everything back at the end of whitetail the way that I would do it, obviously minus my camera. Left the camera arm in there. I did a couple modifications to it, but then I put it back. And everything else, it stays the same. Just because I like consistency. Just that constant. I know where everything's at.
You're familiar with your gear and how you can access it and everything.
Yeah.
Which I think people make a mistake with is, one, not using it enough, so they're not familiar with it. So when it comes to needing or accessing something, they haven't set it up in a way that makes sense for them to access it quickly or efficiently.
Right.
And then an order of operation in which you set your equipment up for how you're going to use it or deploy it essentially when you're climbing a tree or whatnot, because the first thing you need to have access to is your sticks. And if they're hard to get to and you got to start pulling stuff out, it's a problem. You're making noise.
Yeah. It literally everything, even all the way down to like my bow, my tow rope. Like, oh man, I forget how to use this thing, and then I didn't even take into effect, I'm 40 feet in the tree.
My bow rope's only 28 feet.
Luckily, I thought about it, and I was like, let me make sure this thing's long enough. So it was, because when we set everything up, I had to send it down to get more sticks because we weren't high, or I wasn't high enough. I had to set everything up. And I do not like heights that high anyways, especially when you're getting into a tree that splits twice, and I'm having to take I rehook my tree tether on to unhook my lineman's belt, climb with just the tree tether, and then put my lineman's belt back, put everything back, and it's just oh my gosh, because I don't like to not be attached to the tree.
Oh, I know. You're like, you hook in before you even step on that first stick.
Yeah.
Which is smart.
Well, I don't want to fall.
Yeah, no.
I'm at that age where if I fall, I'm going to break something. Right? I'm going to really hurt for a long time.
Oh, yes.
I'm not young and made of rubber anymore.
You know, it happens.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap it up. Where can these guys follow you? Where can people see you? Get some of the advice you're putting out, because you do a lot of different hunting. I mean, from whitetail, you're to the hog hunting side of things. I mean,
I try to do everything.
Turkey.
Yeah.
You know, you do it all. So where can people locate you, find you?
Bobcats and Broadheads on Instagram, and then Facebook is the same. It just replicates. So it's all tied together. I learned how to do that. And if anybody wants to go on a hog hunt, I know a guy. Apex Outdoors and Taxidermy. He does it all.
Joe will put you on them for sure.
100%. He will make sure you're on hogs and have ample opportunity. Just don't screw it up.
That's it, man. Well, Brian, I appreciate you joining me this morning on another episode of the American Bow Hunter. I look forward to hearing some of the stories of your upcoming hog hunts that you've got lined up. I'm sure you'll have some more. And
next
then
week.
I know. Oh, do you have another one next week?
Trying.
Jeez, dude. Yeah, you're on it, man. I need to get on that level with you.
Come on.
That's it, man. All right, guys. That's another episode of the American Bow Hunter. Appreciate you guys following along. Drop some comments. Give us some feedback. Let us know, what topics you'd like us to cover, what you think of the episodes. And as always, we appreciate you guys watching. See you guys in the next episode.